Hey Reddit, long-time lurker, first-time poster. You already know what subreddit this is, so yeah. Today I seriously messed up. Like painfully messed up. Like he needed frozen peas, kind of messed up. So here we go. This happened last weekend when my boyfriend was staying over at my place. We've been dating for a while now. Nothing too crazy. Just that comfortable stage where you can burp in front of each other and steal fries without asking. Anyway, the night was going great. We ordered takeout, watched dumb videos, and ended up goofing around like usual. Now, I'll admit, we can be a little too playful sometimes, like tickle wars, sneak attack wedgies, and the occasional prank while the other's in the bathroom. It's all harmless, until it isn't. And this time, it really wasn't. I honestly didn't mean for anything bad to happen. I thought I was being funny, but what started as a stupid joke turned into one of those moments where time slows down and you instantly regret every life decision that led you there. Yes, I pulled my boyfriend's weenie. And no, not in the fun way. Let me explain. So here's the thing about my boyfriend. Let's call him Jake. Jake is the most patient, chill guy ever. He'll sit through my 40-minute rants about office drama, and he still laughs at my terrible puns. But he also has this thing about showers. He takes forever in there. Like 30-minute full concert performance level showers. Meanwhile, I'm in and out in 5 minutes, like I'm racing the water bill. On this particular night, Jake went in for one of his rituals. I was already bored, scrolling through my phone, and waiting for him to get out so we could start a movie. But then I started thinking. You know how curiosity creeps in when your brain has nothing better to do? We'd been together for months, and let's just say I was curious. Not in a pervy way. More like, what's the deal with guys and their parts? I'd heard a million myths growing up. Like, does it hurt if you flick it? Is it really as sensitive as they claim? And what happens if you, tug it when they're not expecting it? Now remember, we're always playfully teasing each other. He once replaced all my shampoo with mayonnaise for crying out loud. So I thought I'd get a little harmless revenge. The timing seemed perfect. Jake had just come out of the shower, hair wet, towel around his waist, humming something dumb. I snuck up behind him like a ninja with terrible intentions. That's when everything changed. Okay, so Jake's fresh out of the shower, towel barely hanging on, humming the SpongeBob theme like a goof. I'm standing behind him, towel in hand, pretending to be innocent. But in my head, the gears are turning. This was the moment. A curious little poke, just to see. So I did it. I reached out and gave his weenie a soft tap. Nothing aggressive, just a tiny flick like you'd do to a Jell-O mold. He didn't flinch, just let out a little hum and kept drying his hair like it was totally normal. So naturally, my brain went, well, he didn't say stop. I flicked it again. Then a light squeeze, kind of like testing a grape for ripeness. Here's the thing. Being someone assigned female at birth, the male body still fascinates me sometimes. Like, how does this thing just dangle there chillin'? Is it always this squishy? Does it have moods? And yeah, I know this sounds weird, but it was all curiosity, innocent, chaotic curiosity. The kind that creeps in when you're overtired and a little bored. And okay, maybe I'd been watching too many dumb TikToks that week. Jake still hadn't said a word. Just kept drying off while I gently explored. Then suddenly he looked over his shoulder, calm as ever, and said something I didn't expect. He turned to me, totally deadpan, and said, "Squeeze and pull it." Now, you have to understand, This man never initiates dirty talk, ever. So my brain went straight to, oh, he's in the mood. And me? I was flattered. Maybe this was one of those spontaneous, spicy moments couples always talk about. So I did it. I gave it a firm but gentle tug. Not like I was trying to launch it into orbit, just enough to show I was into it too. That's when it happened. Puff-fur. A loud, wet, disgusting fart sound exploded into the room. It echoed. It vibrated. I swear to God, it sounded like a balloon giving up on life. I jumped back like I'd touched a cursed object. My first thought was, did I break him? My second was, what unholy bodily function just betrayed us? Jake. He collapsed on the floor in hysterics, towel flying off, revealing everything. He was wheezing, slapping the tiles, tears running down his face. He choked out, "It was the armpit, babe. I made the noise with my armpit." Y'all, I had just been pranked. He somehow timed the fart noise perfectly with my pull, like some kind of disgusting magic trick. And the worst part? I fell for it completely. There I stood, hands still midair, questioning my life choices, my dignity, and whether I could ever trust this man again. He got me. Real good. I didn't even say anything at first. I just stood there, stunned, my hands still suspended in the air like I'd just disarmed a bomb, only to find out it was actually a whoopee cushion the whole time. Are you kidding me? I finally gasped, face twisted in pure horror. The smell, or maybe just the idea of a smell, hit me like a wall. Whether it was real or psychological, I wasn't sticking around to find out. I turned on my heel and bolted out of the bathroom. Meanwhile, Jake was still howling like it was the best joke in human history. "You should have seen your face," he yelled after me, practically wheezing. I could hear the thud of him collapsing onto the bathroom rug, fully unclothed and proud of his prankster legacy. I stormed into the kitchen and grabbed the air freshener, spraying it like I was performing an exorcism. My heart was racing with a cocktail of emotions: disgust, betrayal, shock, and yes, a little bit of awe. Who even thinks of something like that? I stayed annoyed for about 3 full minutes. Then, against my will, I started laughing too. Just a small chuckle at first. Then a full-blown laugh snort. Because honestly, it was kind of genius. Gross, immature, but genius. Still, I made a mental note. Never trust a naked man who says, "Squeeze and pull it." That's now officially a red flag. Later that night, after I finally stopped smelling phantom farts and got Jake to put on actual clothes, I started thinking about why the prank worked so well. Like, why did my brain fully believe that tugging his weenie would somehow lead to romance? And not a perfectly timed gas-powered betrayal? And the answer hit me. Because I underestimated the sheer power of guy humor. This was peak boy energy. Juvenile, chaotic, deeply unserious, and somehow exactly what I should have expected. Jake grew up with 2 brothers. Their entire childhood was just layers of fake fart noises and elbow drops off couches. To him, this wasn't just a prank. It was a personal achievement. I also had to admit, part of the reason I fell for it was because of my own curiosity. Being AFAB, I've always had a weird relationship with male anatomy. Part mystery, part comedy. And that night, I was both the scientist and the unsuspecting test subject. So now I'm stuck with this weird mix of emotions, half wanting revenge, half kind of respecting the prank. It was disgusting, sure, but also creative in the dumbest way possible. I'm still debating whether I'll forgive him completely or get him back with something worse. But one thing's for sure. The next time I go poking around after a shower, I'm keeping one eye on his armpit and maybe wearing gloves. So, what have I learned from this ridiculous, humiliating, borderline traumatic experience? First of all, never mess with body parts you don't fully understand, especially the ones attached to people who think farts are peak comedy. That thing may look soft and harmless, but apparently it can trigger an armpit booby trap with a single tug. Second, curiosity is fine until it makes you the punchline. I was genuinely just trying to learn something. There was no ill intent. But maybe next time, I'll do my research before I go hands-on. Or at least wait until I'm not in the splash zone. Third, every couple needs boundaries. Ours are usually playful and open, but even in a fun, trusting relationship, it's good to remember that consent goes both ways, especially when it comes to pranks. I never expected him to weaponize his armpit, but here we are. That said, I gotta respect the execution. It was gross. It was juvenile. But it was flawlessly timed. I've decided that retaliation is necessary, but I'll be smarter about it. Maybe I'll swap his shampoo with olive oil, or sneak a hot sauce-coated spoon into a cereal, or maybe I'll just wait. Wait until he least expects it. Let it build. Because while Jake may have won the battle, the war is far from over. And next time, there will be no armpit escapes. So yeah, that's the story of how I absolutely, completely, and unforgettably messed up by pulling my boyfriend's weenie, only to fall victim to one of the dumbest and weirdest pranks of all time. Moral of the story? Don't play with things you don't understand, especially when your boyfriend has the maturity of a 12-year-old with the sound effects app built into his armpit. Relationships are weird. Bodies are weirder. And apparently, trust is fragile when fart noises are involved. Anyway, thanks for sticking through that horror show of curiosity, miscommunication, and bodily betrayal. If you've ever had a TIFU moment like this, or worse, please drop it in the comments. Misery loves company, and I need to know I'm not the only one out here getting ambushed in the bathroom. Don't forget to like, follow, or subscribe if you enjoy these secondhand embarrassments. There's plenty more where that came from.